I knew something was off when Mom, my mother-in-law, not mine, let's keep the villains labeled, asked us to take our shoes off before coming into her living room. She never cared about the carpet. That carpet's seen wine, salsa, and one Thanksgiving where Uncle Ray fell asleep with a lit cigar. But tonight, shoes off. Polite smiles. A tray of lemon bars like a trap. Family night, she said, sing-song, which is how she talks when she's about to club someone with a compliment. There were 6 grandkids lined up on the sofa like ducklings. Wrinkled party hats. The TV was muted on some home makeover show where they swing open a door and pretend to cry. My daughter, Zoe, sat fourth in the row, knees dotted with marker ink, hair still damp from my rushed shower attempt. She kept tugging at her sleeve like she knew it was too small. She hates new clothes. Loves old ones that remember her shape. Mom clapped. The room clapped with her. I swear walls have hands in that house. Okay, she cooed. Little pre-birthday surprise for my favorite people. She reached behind the armchair and pulled out a small mountain of white boxes with shiny apples. I knew the stack the way a bartender knows a hangover. iPhone 16 Pro Max. The exact one Zoe had stared at in the mall like it was a puppy behind glass. My wife, ex-wife if we're being honest with breath, leaned toward me. Be gracious, she said through her teeth. Her text-tone voice. No warmth. I'm a saint, I said. Ask the carpet. This is where I should have walked. Mom started handing them out like communion. For Ethan. For Luna. For Kaylee, my dancer. Each kid's name bubbled out with some little sugar phrase. Boxes were hugged, snapped, open like eggs. Lens glinting, chrome edges catching the lamplight. My mother-in-law glowed too, the kind of glow people pay for under bad lighting. She skipped Zoe. Went to the next kid. You ever notice how liars always blink twice? She blinked twice. Zoe scrunched smaller. She's 8 but folds herself like a letter no one wrote. I said, voice low. You missed one. Mom smiled without teeth. Did I? The humor left my mouth like birds leaving a tree. Grandma. Zoe said, too soft. Maybe mine's last. For suspense? She said it with a brave little soldier smile she learned from YouTube kids who sell slime and relentless optimism. Sweetheart, Mom said, and I felt it land like a brick. Not tonight. Why not tonight? I said. My hands were calm on my knees. My heartbeat was sprinting relays. She shrugged. Because. Silence. Not the kind you sit in, the kind that shoves you. Because. I prodded. You know that tone you hear in your own voice, and you're like, oh, we're doing this in public. Cool. She set the last white box into a boy's lap, patted his hair like it was obedient, then looked at me. Through me. Past me. Because it wouldn't be appropriate. Zoe tried again. I saved my case, she said in a rush. The glitter one. The one you said was a bit much, but I put it by my bed for when. So, I cut in gentle. It's okay. It was not okay. The room was a pink noise machine. The other kids were whispering, trying to look sorry and failing. Boxes peeled open, plastic like snow. My wife shifted on the edge of the sofa. She didn't touch Zoe. There's a whole TED Talk in that, but we'll cut to the chase. Mom, she said, and Mom's eyes flickered. Maybe just give it to her. That would be dishonest, Mom said, and turned that non-smile toward me. Don't you think, Evan? I think you're playing queen with kids as pawns. Big words, she said lightly. For someone who lives in a rental. Gut punch, right? There's more. This woman is a vending machine. You press any button and spike comes out. I stood. The ceiling fan hummed like a mosquito by my ear. Zoe, I said, why don't you go with Kaylee to the kitchen and see if there's more lemonade? She looked at me like I'd put her on a raft and pushed her toward a waterfall. I'm not thirsty. I am. I lied and forced a smile like a bad actor in a local commercial. Kaylee, the cousin with a ballet bun and a talent for fake empathy, took Zoe's hand and led her out. Zoe looked back twice. Once at me, once at the boxes. The minute she turned the corner, Mom exhaled. I swear the house exhaled with her, old and satisfied. Say it, I told her. She tilted her head. Say what, dear? Why? Give me the reason so I don't fill it with my own. She reached for the stack of lemon bars and used the knife to cut a straight line. The metal slipped through sugar like ice cracking. Because, she said, I don't reward bad behavior. What behavior? What? Forget it. This isn't about manners. This is about you. It's about truth, she said, which is a foreign language to this family. My wife flinched like someone had tossed cold water. Mom, you started this, Mom said, not looking at her. Years ago. And now we're here. Years ago? I felt an old door creak somewhere inside me. You know the door I mean. The one you keep furniture pushed against. Zoe is 8, I said. Her biggest crime is hiding broccoli in her pocket. Evan, Mom said, and my name sounded like paperwork. Zoe is not my responsibility. My laugh came out wrong. She's your granddaughter. Mom's eyes were very clear. I'd seen that look when she returned a sweater and got the manager to apologize. No, she said. She isn't. And there it was. The room pinwheeled. Someone's box clattered. A kid yelped. Television people pretended to cry behind the mute. My wife went pale, then angry pale. Mom, stop. I looked at her. Not Mom. Her. The woman I used to share toothpaste with. Tell me she's screwing with me. She didn't answer fast enough. That's the thing about awful truths. They dilate time. Zoe is my daughter, I said. My voice went hoarse on my. She has my ears. She has my habit of chewing straws. If there's a club for those ears and straws, we're in it, paid up. Mom slid a small envelope from her purse like a magician producing a dove. Off-white, crisp, my name in her neat, schoolteacher printing. EVN. She'd practiced. Of course she had. Open it, she said. I'm not opening anything from you again, I said. Last time it was a candle that smelled like an apology. It's not for you, she said. It's for the adults in the room. I felt heat climb my neck. Zoe's mother is right there. If you have something to say it like a human. Not like a... I swallowed the word. She tapped the envelope against her knuckles, a quiet little drum. Because, she said, softly now, almost kind, and that's how you know the blade is thin. I gave an iPhone to each of my grandchildren. And I will not give one to Zoe because she is not my granddaughter. My wife made a sound that was too small to be a sob and too big to be nothing. The knife in the lemon bars flashed. The fan hummed. The kids' whispering swelled, then shrank when Mom glared. You did a test, I said. The words tasted like pennies. You tested her. What did you do? I tested who matters, she said. Hairbrushes are very democratic. I wanted to throw the tray. I wanted to laugh until my ribs hurt. I wanted to go find Zoe and put the entire house between us and everyone else. Instead, I stared at the envelope like it was a bomb at a birthday party. Which, spoiler, it was. Evan, my wife said finally. We should. Should we? I said. I was past polite. Past decent. The edge is real, you guys, and it's slippery. Mom smiled with teeth now. A lot of teeth. Open it, she said. Or don't. But the phones stay where they are. Footsteps. Zoe's, light and quick. She rounded the corner holding 2 cups of lemonade, eyes bouncing from face to face, earning nothing soft back. She looked at the boxes, then at me, then at the envelope in my hand like maybe it held a golden ticket. Dad, she said, what game is this? And that's when the glass started cracking. You just couldn't hear it yet. She didn't even glance at my daughter. That was the first red flag. Not the iPhones. Hell, I couldn't care less about overpriced glass slabs. But the way my mother-in-law's eyes slid right over Emma like she was part of the wallpaper. We were at her Sunday lunch. One of those sprawling family gatherings where the dining table looks like it's auditioning for a magazine spread. 12 chairs, polished silverware, bowls of fruit that no one will eat because they're just decorative. And there, lined up like tiny luxury grenades, were the boxes. White, crisp, each with the black outline of an apple on top. I clocked them instantly. Everyone did. Okay, kids, she announced, like a queen granting an audience. A little surprise for my precious grandchildren. I felt Emma perk up beside me. She's 13, just old enough to know what those boxes meant, and just young enough to still believe that fairness was a rule adults played by. One by one, my mother-in-law, Carol, handed them out. To her eldest son's twins. To her middle daughter's 3 boys. To my wife's nephew, who already had a phone newer than mine. And then she skipped Emma. Just moved on. The room went weirdly quiet. Wrapping paper sound stopped. Even the dog's nails tapping on the floor paused, like it knew something was off. Emma's smile faltered, just a twitch at first. Then she looked at me, confusion turning to something smaller, tighter. I kept my voice even. Carol? She didn't look at me. Just reached for the wine bottle, like she was topping up world peace. "Oh, we'll talk later, Daniel," she said. "It's complicated. Complicated. Like taxes. Or brain surgery. Not like buying a phone for a kid you've called my little sunshine since she was in diapers." Emma kept staring at the boxes in front of her cousins. The table felt smaller, hotter. I could smell the roasted lamb, the citrus from someone's drink, and underneath it, the faint, sour tang of humiliation. I wanted to stand up, to say something loud enough that the clinking forks and awkward coughs stopped. But my wife's hand found my knee under the table, a silent don't. And that was when I knew there was a reason. A real one. One they didn't want said in front of Emma. Because if it was about money, they'd have made a joke about budgets. If it was a mistake, she'd have laughed and said, "Oh no, I forgot one." No, this was deliberate. And I was going to find out why. I found her by the sink, rinsing her wine glass like it was guilty. The rest of the table was still buzzing with the fake cheer of people pretending they didn't just watch a kid get singled out. Emma was on the couch with her cousins, smiling too hard, the way you do when you're trying not to cry in public. "Carol," I said, closing the kitchen door behind me. She didn't turn around. "More potatoes out there if you're still hungry." I stepped closer. "You skipped her." She set the glass upside down in the drying rack, slow and neat. "Daniel, I didn't skip her. I made a choice." I laughed once. It didn't sound like me. "A choice? She's 13. She's your granddaughter." She turned then, one eyebrow up. "Is she?" It was quiet for a second. The kind of quiet that feels like someone just opened a freezer door. "What the hell does that mean?" I said. "It means," she said, folding the dish towel over the oven handle like this was a casual chat, "that I will not reward a child who's been raised to be dishonest." I stared at her. Dishonest? She's a kid, not a politician. She shrugged. "Children learn from their parents. Some lessons are unfortunate." "That's a cute way of saying you have a problem with me," I said. "So punish me. Don't humiliate her." She leaned against the counter, looking almost bored. "Daniel, there are things you don't know. Things I've kept quiet for the sake of family peace." My jaw tightened. "Like what?" Her smile didn't reach her eyes. "Ask your wife." And there it was, that little shove toward the door I'd been ignoring for years. I turned to leave, but she added, almost like an afterthought, "Oh, and Daniel, next time you tell Emma she can expect something, make sure you can actually give it to her." When I walked back into the dining room, my wife was avoiding my eyes, pretending to laugh at something her brother said. Emma caught my sleeve as I passed. "Dad, is Grandma mad at me?" I crouched down so I was eye level. "No," I said. "This isn't about you." But it was. God help me, it was. We didn't talk on the drive home. Emma had her earbuds in, staring out the window like the dark trees had better answers than we did. When we pulled into the driveway, she went straight to her room. Door closed, music up, her usual force field. I was still standing in the hallway when my wife came out of the kitchen holding a wine glass. "Don't start," she said, before I even opened my mouth. "Start?" Carol just told me to ask my wife. "So yeah, I'm gonna start." She took a sip, eyes fixed on the wall. "It's complicated." That's the second time I've heard that word today. "You and your mother share a thesaurus now?" Her jaw clenched. "Daniel, not tonight. Not tonight. My kid got publicly iced out of a family gift ceremony like she's a stranger, and you're telling me to wait for office hours?" She set the glass down a little too hard. "Because it's not about her. It's about you." That stopped me cold. "What?" She rubbed her forehead, the way she does when she's deciding how much truth to let out. "You know how my mom is. She keeps score. She's punishing Emma because of some grudge against me? That's insane." Her laugh was short and mean. "Maybe she's just tired of pretending." I felt something shift under my feet. "Pretending what?" She hesitated. "Just a heartbeat too long. Then, that everything's normal." The words landed heavy, but before I could push, she grabbed her glass and headed for the bedroom. "I'm done talking about this tonight." The door shut behind her. I stood there in the quiet, staring at the space she'd been standing in, replaying her voice, tired of pretending. Pretending about what? Upstairs, I heard Emma's muffled laugh at some video through her door. And right then, I knew, whatever this was, it was going to hit her too. I didn't sleep. Just lay there staring at the ceiling while her breathing evened out beside me, wondering if she could feel my eyes on her in the dark. By 3 a.m., I was downstairs at the dining table with my laptop. If Carol kept score, there had to be a record somewhere. Old family photos first, because if you want to know who matters to her, you check who made the Christmas card. Emma hadn't been in one since she was 10. The year after that, my wife told me they'd gone with an adults-only look. Funny, considering every other cousin's kid was front and center, holding matching mugs of cocoa. Next, I dug through the shared folder my wife uses for family stuff, recipes, holiday plans, vacation itineraries. Buried in a subfolder labeled tax stuff, I found it. A spreadsheet. No, scratch that. A ledger. Names down one side, years across the top. Birthdays, Christmases, graduations. Each square had a dollar amount and, sometimes, a note. Ethan, age 16, $1,200. New laptop for AP classes. Luna, 14, $850. Summer camp deposit. Emma, 13, $0. The dash hit harder than the zero. I scrolled back. Emma's last entry was 3 years ago, $75. Board game. After that, blank. And in the corner of the file, a note cell. I clicked it open. Stopped gifts 2021. D. Not contributing. I sat back. My coffee went cold without me touching it. Not contributing. As in money? She was keeping a literal balance sheet of what I was worth to her. I copied the file to my own drive. Then I noticed the other tab at the bottom. Notes, sensitive. My stomach nodded as I clicked. Halfway down the list of family gossip and grievances, there it was. Daniel, 2010, should verify paternity before investing further. The cursor blinked at me like it was waiting for my reaction. She was in the kitchen the next morning, still in her robe, scrolling her phone like the night before hadn't happened. I dropped the printed spreadsheet on the counter. Her eyes flicked down, then up at me. What's this? You tell me. She skimmed it, face unreadable. So my mom's organized. Congratulations on discovering Excel. I leaned in. It's not organization. It's a hit list. And Emma's been crossed off. Her jaw tightened, but she kept scrolling her phone. You're overreacting. I stabbed a finger at the note column. Read it. Out loud. She didn't. Just set the phone down slow, like she was buying time. Stopped gifts 2021. D. Not contributing. I read for her. And here's the part where you explain why your mother's tracking my contributions. She thinks you don't pull your weight, she said, finally looking at me. You know how she is. Pull my weight. I pay our mortgage, our bills, your car. And you refuse her offers, she cut in. Every time she tries to help, you act like she's trying to buy you. It's insulting to her. I almost laughed. So this is revenge? She punishes Emma to make a point? Her gaze slid away, toward the sink. It's more complicated than that. There it is again, complicated. Like this. I slapped the other note down. Daniel, 2010, should verify paternity before investing further. She froze. Just for a second. But I caught it. What's that supposed to mean? I asked. Her voice dropped. It means my mom's always had opinions. Not opinions. Doubts. She didn't answer, which was worse than denial. I stepped closer. Tell me she's lying. Right now? Tell me Emma's mine. Her lips parted like she might, but the words didn't come. And just like that, the air in the kitchen turned to glass, thin, cold, ready to shatter. She didn't answer. Not that morning, not that night, not the next day. Anytime I circled back, she'd either get loud or get quiet, 2 different ways of saying drop it. So I stopped asking. Out loud, anyway. By Thursday, I'd made my decision. Emma was in the den doing homework, pencil tapping the side of her cheek. Hey, kiddo, I said, leaning in the doorway. Mind if I grab that water bottle you like? Need to wash it. She slid it over without looking up. Half full, her initials in Sharpie on the cap. I took it straight to the garage, where the Amazon package was waiting, paternity test kit, discreet brown box. They make it sound like you're swabbing for a family genealogy project, not appending a life. I poured the water through the provided vial funnel, sealed it, stuck on the label. For myself, I swabbed the inside of my cheek until it felt raw. 2 vials, side by side, both with neat barcode stickers. The whole thing fit in a padded envelope, postage prepaid. Drop in any mailbox, they said, like you're mailing back a pair of shoes. I stood there a long minute before sealing it. Not because I was afraid of the answer, because I was afraid of what I'd do with it. From upstairs, I heard my wife's laugh. Not the full one she used to have. The short, clipped one she uses on speakerphone with her mother. I sealed the envelope. When I walked it down to the corner mailbox, the air was cold enough to sting. I slid the package in, heard it drop, and told myself the truth was worth whatever came next. The thing they don't tell you about paternity tests is that the days in between feel like you're living with a countdown you can't see. Monday, I made pancakes for Emma before school. She drowned them in syrup, chewing while scrolling her phone. I kept looking at her face, trying to decide if I could see myself in it. The way her eyebrows pulled together when she was concentrating, mine. But the dimples when she smiled? Maybe not. Tuesday night, Carol called. I answered on speaker, just to hear her voice flatten when she realized. "Is my daughter home?" she asked. "She's upstairs," I said. "But before you hang up, maybe you could tell me what exactly you were implying at lunch." A pause. "I think you already know." Click. By Wednesday, my wife had stopped making eye contact completely. She moved around the house like I was a piece of furniture she was trying not to bump into. Thursday after dinner, Emma asked if she could go to a movie with friends. I said yes before my wife could answer. She gave me a look, sharp, silent, but didn't say a word. At night, I'd lie in bed listening to the house settle, hearing the clock in the hallway tick like it was keeping time just for me. I started imagining the email arriving. Subject line, "Your results are ready." On Friday morning, I refreshed my inbox before my coffee even finished brewing. Nothing. By Saturday, I stopped refreshing and just waited for the little red dot to appear on my phone. My wife noticed my phone in my hand more often and finally asked, "Expecting something?" "Yeah," I said, meeting her eyes for the first time all week. The truth. She didn't ask what I meant, which told me she knew. And then Sunday night, while I was alone in the kitchen, the red dot appeared. The subject line was exactly what I'd imagined. "Your results are ready." Black text, white background, no warning label for "This might change everything you thought you knew about your life." I clicked it before I could think. The page loaded slow. My Wi-Fi suddenly decided to move at glacial speed, like it was trying to save me. A spinning wheel, then a form. "Log in to view your secure results." Fine. I typed my email and password. The cursor blinked for what felt like hours. Then, 2 columns. One with my name, one with Emma's. A bar graph under each. And in the middle, a bold, clinical phrase. "Paternity not established." That was it. No long explanation, no sympathetic paragraph. Just 3 words that hit harder than any punch I'd ever taken. I read it again, thinking maybe I'd missed a likely or possibly in there. But no, the numbers were clear. 0 probability. I sat there at the kitchen island, laptop open, hands flat on either side of it. The hum of the refrigerator was suddenly loud. So was the faint thump of Emma's music upstairs. My brain split in two. One half was replaying every moment from the last 13 years. Her first steps, her first bike ride, the way she used to fall asleep on my chest during thunderstorms. All of that was still mine, still real. The other half was calculating. When? Who? Why? I thought about the timeline. 13 years ago, my wife and I had been fine. Not great, not falling apart, just coasting. She'd gone on that girls' weekend to visit a college friend. I remember because she came back with a tan and a silver bracelet I'd never seen before. She said it was from a craft market. I never asked more. I closed the laptop, not because I was done looking at the result, but because if I kept staring at it, I was going to throw it through the window. Upstairs, I heard Emma laugh. That high, sudden burst she gets when something really gets her. It hit me in the gut. She had no idea her world was already cracked, just waiting for me to tell her. And here's the thing. I didn't feel different about her. Not in the way Carol wanted. If anything, I felt more protective. Like the truth made her mine in a way blood never could. But my wife? That was another story. She walked into the kitchen just then, phone in hand, wearing that half smile she uses when she's about to ask for a favor. She froze when she saw my face. "What?" she asked. I didn't answer right away. I wanted to watch her squirm, to see if she could read the verdict in my eyes. Finally, I said, "Got the email." Her lips pressed together. No fake confusion. No, what email? She just nodded once, slow. "So," I said, Anything you want to tell me before I decide what happens next? She glanced toward the hallway, where Emma's footsteps were coming down the stairs. Not here, she whispered. Emma came in, grabbing a snack from the pantry, humming under her breath. She glanced at us. You guys okay? I forced a smile. We're fine, kiddo. Go watch your movie. She padded back upstairs, leaving the bag of chips on the counter. My wife and I stood there, the bag between us like it was radioactive. You knew, I said quietly. Her eyes shone, but she didn't look away. I suspected. Suspected? Or hoped I'd never check. She didn't answer, which was answer enough. I picked up the chips and tossed them into the pantry just to have something to do with my hands. Tomorrow, I said, we're going to talk. All of it. No more complicated. She nodded again, but there was something in her face, resignation, maybe, or relief that the pretending part was finally over. I didn't sleep that night either. Not because of what the email said, because of what came next. Morning came gray and cold. I was at the kitchen table before the coffee finished dripping, hands wrapped around a mug I wasn't drinking. She came in wearing jeans and a sweater like we were about to run errands together. No makeup, hair tied back. She didn't sit, just leaned on the counter, arms crossed. Say it, I told her. Her eyes flicked to the doorway, checking for Emma. It was that weekend in Charleston, she said finally. I'd been feeling invisible. You were working late every night. I met someone at the hotel bar. It was one night. I never saw him again. I stared at her. And you thought it was easier to let me believe. I didn't know I was pregnant until weeks later, she cut in. And by then, we were us again. I told myself it didn't matter. That you were her dad in every way that counted. That's not your call to make, I said. My voice was low, but it felt like the air shook. She looked down. I was scared. And my mom. Carol. The name came out like a cough. How long has she known? She guessed. Emma was barely a year old when she made a comment about her eyes. I told her the truth once, in a moment of weakness. She swore she'd never say anything. I laughed, short, ugly. Except she's been saying it every chance she gets. Ledger sheets. Birthday boycotts. iPhones for every kid but mine. Her face tightened. She thinks she's protecting me. No, I said, standing. She's protecting her control. Over you. Over me. And now, apparently, over Emma. She took a step toward me. Daniel, I never wanted to hurt you. You did, I said. And you let it keep happening for 13 years. Silence. Just the faint tick of the kitchen clock. Where does that leave us? She asked finally. I thought about the email. About Emma's laugh. About Carol's smug little smirk at the Sunday table. It leaves us with choices, I said. You get to tell Emma the truth. Today. Without me in the room. So she never confuses my love for her with what you did. Or I tell her myself. Her face went pale. She's too young. She's 13. Old enough to have her heart broken by her grandmother's games. She deserves to know why. And then what? She asked. You leave? I shook my head. I'm not leaving Emma. You? We'll see. But I'm done being in a marriage built on your mother's blackmail. She didn't say anything. Just stared at the floor like maybe it would open up and swallow her. That afternoon, she took Emma to the park. I didn't ask what she said there. When they came back, Emma went straight to her room, eyes red but jaw set like she'd aged 5 years in an hour. She didn't ask me anything, just hugged me longer than usual before disappearing behind her door. An hour later, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Text. So you've decided to stir the pot. Let's see how you handle the heat. No signature, but I didn't need one. I deleted it without replying. Then I opened my laptop and pulled up the copy of Carol's ledger. Scanned receipts, dollar amounts, little comments in her perfect handwriting. I compressed the folder into a neat little file and dropped it into an email draft addressed to every sibling, in-law, and cousin in the family. Subject line, for transparency. I didn't hit send. Not yet. Just left it there, a loaded round in the chamber. Because now the table had turned, and I was done playing by their rules.